Carolyn, here to share another channeled message from the Light Keepers, a group of angelic beings I channel for your awakening and ascension journey support. So today we're going to do the July energy update. Again, they channeled through me, which they've been doing lately, to talk about the month of July and forward. And then what you'll hear is you'll hear them talking, and then they'll also channel through me like I've been doing in the past videos. So we're going to talk about July. So in summary, July takes off on the same visuals that have been given in the past videos. And again, we're up on the plateau. We are now walking forward as the initial wave of light workers into this wide open light path. And what I thought about today when I was starting to do this video is, if you can kind of think of salt flats, if you've ever seen salt flats before, it's like that, but it's light. Okay, so that's what I envision and that's what I see. So they gave me the idea that it's kind of like salt flats, right? But it's light. So as of the last video, as I think it was the solstice video, we're up there, we're marching forward, we're on this light pathway, because remember, we're in different times. We're in Aquarian age energies that are really starting to take off. And this last half of the year is going to be quite different energetically than the first half, is what they've been telling me. So they're using new metaphors once we're up on this light pathway. That's kind of where it left off. And the last videos also talked about how we're still going to have our stuff. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about memories, mirages, gravel roads, and weeds. Yes, weeds as in weeds in the cracks of things. So those are some of the metaphors they use. So I'm going to get going. It's a pretty lengthy channel, and it's going to help you, I hope, understand a little bit about what to expect energetically coming up in July. Additionally, at the end, what I hope to do is maybe give you a little bit more context as to how this might apply to you, how it might show up, and we'll see. I might get to some time to tell you a few of my experiences, but we'll just see how this goes. So I'm Carolyn. I'm a channel, I'm a distance energy healer, and I'm a spiritual awakening mentor and the owner of purplerainhealing.com, where I offer all of my services there. I offer these videos and these channels for your awakening and ascension journey support. So hopefully you'll take a couple things away that will help you on your journey forward in the month of July. So check out below. You're going to see a description box that leads you to a free video on how to create flow in your body for health and wellness. But what it really does is it takes you then to my email list, where I offer a Light Keeper channel, typically every Friday or Saturday for the week coming up, to support you in your journey. So if you want to join me further for more channeled messages, check it out below. All right, we're going to go ahead and get going, and I'm going to read the channel, and then as usual, I'm going to make some commentary at the end. You've lost your way, and you've found it too. Now which way will you go as the rest of the year comes to you? Moving across time, you will find your own way. Decisions to be made, and looking at yourself too. Who are you, and why do you have all that swirls around you that no longer serves you? Take a glance from one side to the other, and know that you can get smothered by the things that are occurring, but mostly of what is in your own life today. This is the time of shift and change after the solstice in your name. For this is a new year come your way, the rest of the year, just for you. Greater decisions in your way. You will no longer not make up your mind, for you understand this journey better, for so much more has come your way. Learning to know the triggers of the things that aren't meant for you. And rather than accepting into your life what you had before, you now know this is the beginning of the new earth and time, which brings you into a new place for your own decision making, because it is all about you. For if you just focus on yourself now, we say, with great kindness for the rest, but decision making in your best interest today, you will see the world shift and change, we say too. For you are writing a new story, not just about yourself, but about the rest of humankind too. Let everyone else take their own stand, we say. You may offer the help, but this is about you and your way. Because as we know, if you focus too much on all the others outside of you, you will give yourself away, and you will never become what you know you are in time. And this is what everyone individually is here to do. Find their own deep inside and carve their own way through the great caverns they see in front of them too. You know which way you'll come out, and you find your path, not what everyone else is here to do. For each to their own will find their way to the deep inside of their heart, understanding who they are in time, the greater of the I am. It is a journey, for no one else can show it and give it to you. You must go through it to the lighter, brighter side. So know that what you find in front of you is all about which way you will go, for you have chosen it too. But what you must understand, this journey will always try to pull you back from the things that have held humankind down for so long in your day. You will see it and you will know it, but you see the brighter of it too, and you are a leader of the light. But the struggle is still deep inside, the human you. Choices will be made by everyone, we say. So know that as you travel this month of July in the humankind way, much more will be presented outside, jumping in your way, decision-making in time, for this is the dedicated path you take. But remember, there will always be tests in your way. And as you travel this journey of the light path, remember those who wish for it not to be will jump out from the sidelines, reminding you of the past and wondering too if you'd like to come back. But no, you don't. And we wish for you to understand that what you see and feel and find and the memories that will come back to you in time are just that. A movie you're watching, but you're moving forward in a new day of the lighter grace that will come your way. For this is the journey. It is not overnight to building the new earth. It is you inside. For July will be energetic, but this is getting used to the new solstice energies. For this last half of the year, you will move up and down the light pathway, but it will be slippery at times, as it has been in the past too. But this is different, for you know and have practice moving forward on this path. You understand what comes your way, again, for you to look at in your day. It is not real, it is not true. What you wish for deep inside is the true you. So then I start talking, and I say, so what you're showing me this time was really interesting. We left, I think it was in June or the solstice time frame, with this new light pathway showing up on this plateau. And we're on this amazing, bright, light, broad pathway. It's just all light. It actually looks like salt flats, but it's light. But the thing is, what happens is these mirages. That's what you're telling me, mirages. The mirages are showing up from our past, and we think they're real, but they're not, as we're going down this pathway. And they're feelings and suffering and past life things and all these memories. And then just when we think we've got it, and this is all going to be well and good, then another mirage shows up, but we're still on this light pathway. So think of it like being out in the desert, even though you're on the light pathway, and you think there's water up front or a town or whatever, and it's not. And in many cases, what it is a mirage. You're seeing things from your cellular memory is what you're saying to me. So then the light keepers say, yes, this is coming up from the past in time, because remember, everything for the Ascension is about clearing out of you. So memories and dreams and visions of things that have been done to you or that you fear in your day will pop back in, but you are in the light pathway, and yet you will never leave it in time. You must understand that what happens to you in the month of July, it is just that, a mirage along the great light pathway. And it's not that you won't encounter new things to deal with, it's just that you will know and understand how to deal with them more easily. For you've seen a lot of this in the past, but you must understand that mirages will come along your way, but you're still on the pathway. You're not entering into the mirage, for once you start recognizing what is in front of you and deal with it, it will evaporate again in time. And this is cellular memory, clearing, so you do not have to carry these traumas into the new pathway and into the new earth. For you are building the brightest of time, the first to go. You will not be forsaken along this way. You work and you do each day the building of the new you, the life you wish for. Understand that what you see in front of you too is just that, a mirage of memories that you brought in to clear. And then I say, oh, that makes so much sense. Okay, so what we want people to understand is what we saw in June was, okay, we came up to this plateau, We'd come out of the muck, out of the chasm. The light workers have and are. And remember, it's a stream of light workers. We're all in a different place in our individual journey. We're coming out of the chasm, we're flying over it, helping those in 3D, the strife, all that we see in our collective angst. The old world we're leaving behind. We're pulling people up, we were bringing them up, and many have entered over into the other side. And then it opened up into this big light pathway, the light pathway we're talking about now. And that's where we left the solstice in June. Oh my gosh, this is where we are. Well, so what did that mean? Well, this is what it means, is that now we're journeying. We're there. We're on the light pathway in these new energies, these new Aquarian age energies. But the thing is, you did bring in the roller coaster last time again, as I remember. The roller coaster's part of this, with the mirage showing up. And what will happen is, oh my gosh, you're thinking, I have to deal with this again. This is never going away. But that's not the case. It's a mirage. It's an old memory. It's an old memory because cellular memory is so strong that it comes up again. Pieces, like leftover pieces of dust, come up again. So these are mirages in front of us. We know how to deal with this. And if it's something different, we've had something similar. So if something new enters your way, in many cases, you're going to be able to have something to refer back to that you've dealt with. And you're on the light pathway. I don't want you to think you've ever left it, but it's like the adjustment from the solstice energies. Okay, so now you're showing me another metaphor. A car is like driving over a really gravelly road. And then sometimes the gravel's not that bad, but it'll spit up pieces of gravel at you and hit the car. But it doesn't destroy the car. You're just kind of like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? This is kind of rocky. And sometimes you'll hit potholes. That's what you're showing me to help understand what this is about. Again, the mirage idea. So what we want to understand is we're not going to be taken down by these things coming our way. It may feel like it, but a lot of this is old stuff, old past lives, old memories, right? They might come in dreams. It might come in the day-to-day interactions with others. It will definitely come in your feelings, how you feel about yourself, your bodies, your emotions. Because remember, this is first and foremost all about the self journey. It's not about saving others. But the problem is we always look externally for answers, and we're learning now not to do that. So when these things come your way, turn inside. And this is so hard, especially when it comes to relationship. We want to be able to fix or help the other or make the relationship okay. But first we must make decisions for ourselves emotionally that are best for us. You know, like they say, save yourself first, put on your own oxygen mask first, then you can help others. But this is our journey. We have to deal with our stuff because this is what ultimately helps the collective, not us giving ourselves away. If everybody did that, we'd have nothing. We'd have just chaos. So we're on this new light pathway and we're moving forward. And the month of July feels like this huge adjustment. And you're giving now another metaphor. So we're walking and all of a sudden we're seeing weeds starting to grow and popping up in front of us. And then we see on this light pathway some of the cracks. Or when like a desert or a piece of land gets too dry and the big cracks appear. But it's still the light pathway. And you're going to be supported and you're going to be okay. You're going to pull up the weeds. So what we want to make sure of is we use our tools. As we encounter the weeds and the gravel and the mirages, we use the tools that we know about with self-care. We notice our emotion and we feel it. Forget whether you know your past life it's attached to because so many past lives are clearing now. Yes, it helps to understand what's going on, but if you don't, which most people don't, you can lean into the feeling and express out the emotion because tears are actually the way we can cellularly clear as well. So feel the emotion, cry it out, and then we move past it. And remember, we can't save others on our journey. I feel like this month is going to be hard for a lot of people with loved ones, where we're going to be concerned that maybe they're not coming along this time. And when I say not coming along, that doesn't mean forever. But like now they're stuck. They're dealing with their own stuff. And of course, they're not awakened, so they don't understand, and you can't explain this to them. We've talked about this before. I feel like there may be some angst here, wishing others would come along, but remember, this is all their own journey. We have to focus on ourselves and grow our own lights, because when we grow our own light, I know it's hard to understand, especially since humans have feelings, our light supports them, not our words, not our giving ourselves away to them in human 3D form. That's not it. They have to do their journey. They have to do their journey. And many of you find that you see people starting to go what you think is the other way. But they may be starting to have their awakening and their dark night of the soul. So they have to go the other way, if that makes sense, for a bit of time. They have to feel the suffering and the tragedy and what they've done to themselves over the eons, or others have done, or what is coming their way to wake them up. Now, that's not saying everyone's going to, but the point in this is, I feel that there's going to be some hard suffering potentially for a lot of us, where we're wondering, we know so much, we want to save others, but that's not how this works. It's not how this works. It works by continuing your own journey and doing your work. And then as the collective grows in their own self-discovery, one individual at a time, that's how we build the new earth. And that's how we then start creating from the inside out to manifest what we'll see in this Aquarian age energy. But we each have to do this on our own. And then the light keepers say, oh yes, we find you are on the journey of all time. This is why we say humankind had lost their way and feeling as though they must fight and strife and always save the other before they save themselves. But this is not the case now. Build your own light deep inside, for you are like a beacon that everyone else will follow. Those who are in the trenches will look and see the other way and see the brightness in the skies from all of you, each individual who has worked on themselves and is dedicated to the cause. And then they will look and they will be pulled up by your light and come in your way. But it is the light that will be built from the inside out. For the bumps and the mirages and the weeds, we say too, the cracks and the crevices that you will still encounter are full of light. Remember, it is just that in your day for you to revisit again, to build your light even greater, for the others to follow, as the collective together builds the new earth together in time. Okay, so I'm just going to try to summarize this real briefly. This is very much about being on the light pathway, as we said, in the Aquarian age energy, which is what I believe they're alluding to when they talk about the light pathway. We're in these new energies now. That may sound like, oh, everything's going to be hunky-dory. But the thing is, we still have all these things that we have to encounter, right? And a lot of this stuff is old stuff. It's old stuff we've revisited and we thought we were done and over with dealing with. Like a great example is past relationships. We have certainly seen in the past where people were popping back in for us to finish things up with them. But guess what? Sometimes we haven't cleared all of that out. So what you may be seeing is some of the old stuff coming up, particularly from past lives. So I don't want you to discount past lives, but I also don't want you to get wrapped up in like, oh, I don't know my past lives. Believe me, they're just going to come through you cellularly. You may not understand them. You may have physical stuff happen. You may, you could maybe fall ill for a little bit. You may have strong emotion and feel like something's taken your body over. You may be encountering what I'll just say is past lives with relationships from the past that are coming back to fix that, but not with the person, actually with the spirit, with the energy of that individual. I've actually had that happen, and hopefully I'll have a video on that in the future for you. But what I want you to know is that July looks to be, they just said bumpy, lumpy. So we got the gravel road, spitting up gravel, hitting you, and you're going to be okay. But it's these annoying little things, and it could also be great emotion too. I have found that a lot of us clear very emotionally, like you wake up each day and you don't know how you're going to feel, right? So this is July. That's why they gave that roller coaster in the solstice that we were coming into. The roller coaster where, you can use a gazillion metaphors like they've used. On the light pathway, you've got gravel spitting up at you, which is a super annoyance and you might have to slow down. Weeds you're pulling up. You have mirages thinking this is a real thing when in reality it's not. It's something energetic you need to clear and revisit and feel through, because a lot of this that we're dealing with now is not easy to grasp in 3D. It's a lot of energetics. It's a lot, I'm going to just say, a lot of past life clearing. It's a lot of kind of working from the other realms and coming through you to work through you. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have the day-to-day human kinds of things that we would be able to go one-to-one correspondence of, oh, I'm dealing with this today, work, family, whatever, and I can tell that this is part of this process of journeying forward in the awakening. You're going to still have some of that too. But what I want you to always know is you're on you're supported by the light pathway. But at the same time, we're coming out of all these eons of, well, the Pisces age of energy, which was, institutions, belief systems, rules and constructs and thou shalts and all that old energy, right? That's not where we're headed anymore. We're in this creative, beautiful new energy, which is how we're going to build the new earth from each of us. But the point here is it's done in each of us. So turn inward, okay? Turn inward. I know you've all been doing this to one degree or another, but it's really important now to do that, because what they've also said here is that the external world is going to try to pull you back, all right? We know that. But there feels like, okay, they just said like a last hurrah. Now, it's probably not the end of it, right? But what we're going to find as we move forward in our journey, yes, we're going to have greater events happening where we could get pulled around and pulled back in. And some of us may be designed to actually do that and go help, but you pull yourself back out, or be aware, but you keep going forward on the light pathway. You keep doing your work. You keep feeling the feelings. You keep your focus. You keep your focus. You stay in your now moment. So again, inside job. They very much were talking about this because I feel like we're going to be tested a lot of times to be pulled back into our old ways. And that could be as simple as, okay, I no longer party on the weekends like I used to and crash at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning because I can't do it anymore. And now I'm, chilling out at home with a cup of tea and reading books at 10 o'clock at night. I mean, you might get pulled back into some of this. So just remember, that's kind of how this works. It's like, hey, do you really think so? Do you really think so? Did you really do this work? Do you think that's where you want to go on the light pathway? Maybe you need to come back here. No. So just know you might get tested in many different ways. That's the weeds, it's the gravel road, it's the mirages. They're really showing this now. Like, they just said pummeled. Okay, pummeled. Well, all right. I would say that the most difficult part of the pummeling that they say we might get, and again, these are little things that are going to come and go. It feels like they're going to come and go in a day or two when you do experience them, but they can be very difficult when they affect you emotionally and in memories. And I don't mean, it's actually easier if you were able to know where it was coming from, because then you can, if you're like me, go, okay, I have some understanding of why this is happening. When we don't have understanding of where it's coming from, it is a little frightening. I mean, it can be when we feel like our emotions are overtaking us, we don't know who we are. What I will say to you is, if July proves to be the way they're talking, it's nothing to be frightened about. You've been through a lot of this anyway. This is just, I feel like a little more energetics, more from the perspective of not being able to actually, the one-to-one correspondence, to understand why it's happening, and not always necessarily from this life. But what we want to be able to do is stay calm. I'm not great at that, okay? I mean, you could argue, if you saw me, I am, but I can go into this. I got to understand what this is, and fortunately for me, I have some other colleagues where we tap into past lives, and I start understanding what's going on, because I have a huge clearing of past lives. That's kind of my thing. And yes, I have current life stuff, but so much of my resides in past lives. I brought a lot of past lives through to rectify. But you don't have to know that. What you need to do is just lean into the emotion, lean in. I mean, honestly, take a day off work call in sick, have a vacation day. I mean, just do it, because this is super important that you take care of yourself. Being able to at least take a break, but knowing that the emotion for you, because you understand who you are typically at a, regular stable day over time. I mean, we all know kind of who we are. When we aren't feeling like ourselves, we can pretty much know it's coming from somewhere to clear. during this awakening journey. Lean into it, take a break, use Epsom salt baths, you do your clearing. I would also say to you in the morning, make sure to put your boundaries up, your energetic boundaries. Bring your angels and guides along with you. It's just important, really important right now to do self-care because we're moving into such a high energetic, high light vibration. And again, this is a 2 steps forward, 1 back kind of thing, which I'm sure you've felt. Anyway, we're moving into such a high vibration that what we've got is we've got a lot of interactions with others that we may feel in 3D when we become very empathic, where they're going to search out our light. And keep in mind, again, this happened to me too, where those who are struggling, and we may not even know who it is, we may be sitting at a restaurant, it happens, may come in and take our light and come into us. Now, when I say come into us, don't get freaked out. But they will leave their energy in us because they then drew from us. So that does happen. And those of you who are empathic and have lived like this forever, you understand this. However, the greater sensitivity grows as we go through this journey. So lots of clearing, lots of understanding this, being aware of, how many people you're around on a regular basis. Maybe you need to change some things up and you can't stand the crowds anymore. So there are all kinds of things that we need to be very aware of. And so I'm very much being driven right now to, they just said, take care of your energetic body. Energy clearings, Reiki by practitioners that provide those. And then when things do come up, there's also, as I've said, past life readings. Past lives are one of my specialties if it's appropriate for the session and for the person. But what I'll tell you is these are coming up whether you know it or not, or never choose to work with somebody to help you understand it. Energetics within the body are going to be continuing to shift and change to a lighter state. We will continue to have others want to take our light, whether it be just, somebody who needs help and needs your light and you never know it, to I'll just call the lower energies that like to go, oh, look at that light, because we're shining brighter and brighter. And it's because we're continuing to do our inner work. But don't get scared about this. You know what to do. It's all about self-care. Be very aware also during this time. And it's summertime. We like to kind of, have a party on occasion. And a lot of that involves alcohol and maybe some other fun things, right? So what you want to be aware of is that opens us up. I've had this experience recently. I've had some really interesting experiences over the last month or so. Hopefully I'll be able to share those in a video. I just got to figure out how to explain it. But needless to say, those things open us up to those energies. As we gain more light and we have our drinks and we do our other whatever we do's, we open that up more. And that's not a good thing. So be very aware if you're starting to feel at odds with your habits, or your partying ways, or your social kinds of things, even if it's just, having a glass of water around a lot of people, being around a lot of people can also cause you to take in their energy. So I'm not trying to put fear in anybody, because this is not something to fear at all. It's part of the process of us moving into our light. It's kind of like you just keep going like this. You just knock them off. Kind of like the gravel. It hits the car and it bounces off. You'll pull up the weed and off you go, and then you get the next weed, or you see the mirage and you think, oh God, that's real. No, it's not. It's just here for you to experience again, and then once you see it, it's gone. So needless to say, this is all part of the process of us moving forward. We're on the light pathway. That's the Aquarian age energy, and I think we're going to stay there. It doesn't mean we're not going to see mountains here in the future, but this is a very different time now since we've seen the light pathway in these visuals that the light keepers have given us. So we're marching along. Think of the salt flats. Think of thousands of people moving in that direction. And it's kind of like this. It's like a little bit of an arrow is what I'm showing is, there are a few of us that started this, and it's growing. Okay? But we'll always have our weeds to pull up. We'll always have the gravel. We're going to continue to just push aside what comes our way. But you're going to recognize it at the same time. I hope you've taken at least one thing away that will help you on this journey forward in the month of July. And it kind of helps us kind of understand what we're going to have coming up here probably the rest of the summer. Because remember, we knew summer was going to be very different, very energetic. The shifts and changes actually are supercharged, and synchronicities are coming faster. People's lives are changing faster. Again, it's the inside job. Just keep thinking inside job, okay? It's about the inner you. deciding from the inner you, the feeling you, the heart of you, making your choices from passion, inspiration. What do you feel? Remember that. It's not the thinking mind anymore. All right. Yes, the thinking mind's there for a reason, but this is about what you feel. You're becoming more sensitive to that and more attuned to understanding yourself. So I will leave you with my services, purplerainhealing.com. I do channeling in all of my services. That's my foundation. And my specialty is past lives, to help you understand your journey forward. Because those past lives that come through, they have a meaning for your current life journey. And I bring through many other pieces of information, past, present, future. That said, I also offer distance energy healing, and I offer spiritual awakening mentoring, which is so much fun for me to work with all of you who are awakening. And we journey you forward in your awakening and ascension journey as we work together regularly. And I really get to know you, and so much information comes through in these really robust sessions. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Have a happy July. And for those of you in the United States, happy July 4th. And I'll see you in the next video.